Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. My name is Artem, and here is the news. For 602 days, Ukraine stands strong against the forces of the Russian invasion. The New York Times informs that the US sent about 20 ATACMS missiles to Ukraine, reports Radio Liberty. One of the conditions for the delivery is that they will not be used for attacks on Russian territory. Missiles delivery was carried out in secrecy out of concern that they could be attacked by Russia as they were shipped into the country. In addition, Ukraine wanted to try to catch the Russians off guard. Kyiv used ATACMS missiles to strike 2 air bases in Russian-occupied territory on Tuesday. According to media sources, the ATACMS missiles sent to the Ukrainians are cluster munitions that scatter 950 small bombs that can cause damage over a large area. This type of weapon is banned by an international agreement that the United States or Ukraine are not part of. For months, Ukraine has been asking the US to provide it with long-range armaments in order to strike Russian targets in their rear. But Washington has refused due to concerns about escalation from Russia's side and shortages of such missiles for the American military. ATACMS tactical missile systems have a range of up to 300 kilometers. Russian President Vladimir Putin has reacted to the delivery of long-range ATACMS missiles to Ukraine, calling it a mistake made by the US and assuming that the Russians would be able to down them, reports Ukrainska Pravda. At a press conference following his visit to China, Putin claimed that they will not change the situation on the front line. He believes that the delivery of missiles by the United States to Ukraine is their mistake because it seems to prolong a quote-unquote Ukraine's agony. The Russian president believes that Ukraine is supposedly already thinking about negotiations with Russia. He said that Ukrainian officials who before talked about the need to inflict a strategic defeat on Russia on the battlefield have now changed their stance and are saying that these problems should be solved through peaceful negotiations. At the same time, Putin announced that Russian military jets equipped with Kinjal hypersonic missiles will be patrolling the airspace over the Black Sea on a regular basis. The Russian dictator reiterated that these systems have an effective range of over 1,000 kilometers at a speed of Mach 9. Quote, "This is not a threat what I'm announcing now," Putin concluded. Spokesperson for Ukraine's Air Force Yuri Ignat commented that this announcement may be aimed at increasing tension, but they do not radically change anything for Ukraine. Quote, "Russia already threatens our country with various weapons on a daily basis," unquote, said Ignat. He remarked that these threats by Putin may be aimed more at NATO member states, which could potentially be struck by these missiles, and that this is the latest piece of scaremongering by Putin. We would really appreciate if you could rate us, ideally with 5 stars, and leave a glowing review in the app where you are listening to this podcast, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and others. This really helps more people to find out about the highlights from Ukraine and truth about Russia's invasion. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky informed that the number of victims of the Russian missile strike at Zaporizhia had risen to 5. He said that rescue operations have been ongoing all day at the scene. Part of an ordinary residential building was destroyed, floors 3 through 5 in one of the blocks. Another 5 people were injured and are being provided with the necessary assistance. Later in the evening, Russian forces shelled a settlement in the Stepove community in Mykolaiv Oblast, south of Ukraine, reports LBUA. 2 civilians have been killed as a result of the attack. The delegation of the Romanian government visited Kyiv yesterday, reports Ekonomichna Pravda. Prime Minister of Ukraine Denis Shmyhal said that Romania has shown itself to be a reliable economic partner and ally in countering Russian aggression. According to him, 600 days after the start of the full-scale war, Romania took 3rd place in terms of bilateral trade. The Prime Minister stressed that currently up to 60% of Ukrainian export grain transits through Romanian territory. Also, huge progress has been made in the development of border infrastructure. Shmyhal expressed hope that Romania will make a significant contribution to the restoration of Ukraine. Thank you for listening to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast. We're a commercial initiative of just two people and we need your help to grow. Share information about the podcast, rate us in the app, subscribe to our Patreon. With your support, we are getting better. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.